Sehari sebelumnya, Presiden Bank Dunia bertemu dengan Presiden Jokowi di Istana Negara. Sejumlah menteri mengaku pertemuan tidak membahas pinjaman atau utang. Beberapa jam setelah bertemu Presiden Jokowi, pihak Bank Dunia merilis pernyataan pers. Intinya, mereka siap memberi pinjaman baru senilai 11 miliar dolar Amerika Serikat pada pemerintah Indonesia. Setelah berhadapan dengan para mahasiswa yang kritis dan bernegosiasi dengan Presiden Joko Widodo, Presiden Bank Dunia menyempatkan wawancara dengan pemimpin redaksi Kompas TV, Rosiana Silalahi.
Dalam wawancara ini, Saudara Jim Yongki mengungkapkan isi negosiasi antara dirinya dan Presiden Joko Widodo. Berikut ini kutipan wawancara eksklusif Rosiana Silalahi dengan Presiden Bank Dunia, Jim Yongki.
And you just at University of Indonesia had discussions with Indonesian students. How did you get impressions?
Well, first of all, I think they asked some very good and very interesting questions.
I heard you had a lot of critical questions
yes.
as well, and you did answer the questions very well. It went well.
Well, critical questions about the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, about what the World Bank does and who we are, and what even one gentleman said that I should apologize to all of Indonesia for the World Bank, and so it was a lively discussion, and once again it showed me that. That the human capital, the human resources here in Indonesia are probably its greatest strength.
Yeah, but how could you convince Indonesian people who still having a negative impressions toward the bank, because they still feel that the aid is not relevant to what they need? How could you convince that this aid is still relevant to what Indonesia needs?
Well, there are many perceptions of the World Bank that go back 15 or 20 years. And the first thing is to hear on this show with you, Rosie, I can tell you, the World Bank has changed. And the World Bank has changed based on a lot of different things, including based on evidence. So 20 years ago, one of my critiques of the World Bank Group is that they were thinking of healthcare in ways that we thought didn't make sense. They were urging countries to charge user fees so that every time you go to see a physician, even the poorest patients were forced to pay. And from having worked for decades myself in these poor countries, we knew that would limit access to healthcare. And yet the bank continued to recommend it, but when the evidence came out that says that in fact it does limit access to healthcare for the poorest, the bank changed its policy. And that's what we've always been open to doing. When there is evidence that suggests we should change policy, we have changed policy. Now, we're working on the things that the Indonesian government has asked us to work on. We haven't come here and said, you need to do this, and that's what we'll give you money for. That's just not how we work, not anymore.
Well, by the way, after you offered up to 11 billion US dollar, how did President Jokowi respond to this?
I think he was very positive about it. I mean, of course, we agreed that we've got to negotiate through this, and we'll only do the things that the Indonesian government really wants to do. But we walked out of that meeting with a very big agenda for the future, which is the agenda for the future is very exciting for us.